morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And how do you do? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And God loves you. Ooh, ooh. That's right. And we'll be here cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. Guess what? God woke me up this morning just the way I am, accepts me just the way I am. And if you watch it, he woke you up this morning. I just can't see you, but he can see you. So to God be the glory for choosing us this day to wake up, to be glad and rejoice in it. So from 6:40 to 6:45, I share with y'all my testimonial song that inspires me, supports me, encourages me, reminds me of my mama today, a special song for my mama today, right? And then at 6:45, I will switch from my religious choice to my spiritual program of Alcoholics Anonymous, okay? So for right now, enjoy my testimonial song while I get myself together right before your eyes. Watch the transformation. It's called Prayer Will Change Things by Kayla Richardson. Enjoy.
All you gotta do is fall down on your knees. Trust in him with all your needs. He is the one. Yes, he can. He is the one that has the plan. I watch mama pray, oh, she be down on her knees, praying God could make a way. And there were times she didn't know what to do, but somehow she knew the Lord would come through. Sometimes she cried while she prayed, but God let her know everything will be okay. I come to tell you that prayer. I know it will change. What change things? Sometimes all you gotta do on your knees, trust in him, the one who supplies. He is the one. Yes, he can. Anybody know he can? Stay right there. Can we try this thing for a minute? Let me tell you about me. I know that he can. Tried it for myself, and I found him to be a friend. That's how I know. Pick me up, turn me all around, place my feet on the solid ground. You can't tell me what my God won't do. He did it for me. He can do it for you. The same God back then is the same God right now. That's how I know to tell you. Oh, let the church say, yeah. Good God Almighty, I feel like preaching right here. 'Cause there was a time in my life I didn't know y'all if I was coming or going. But I tell you now, He did it for me. Made a way in prayer. Oh, prayer. I know it will.
Prayer will change things. Prayer will change things. My mama prayed for me. She had me on her mind. I'm so glad my mama prayed for me. But there was one who prayed for us all, and that's our Creator Himself. Welcome to the Alcoholics Anonymous, February the 5th, Daily Reflections for today. A glorious release is our topic. I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've been a proud, grateful, and humble member for close to 32 years. On February the 23rd, when God wakes me up, I got faith that He's going to wake me up. Oh, yes, I do. Because I'm doing His will. We will celebrate 32 years of recovery from alcoholism, drug addiction, prostitution, right? Hustling and all those things that people still want to keep you in bondage from. But God said, I paid the price for you and your deliverance and your salvation. And I'm going to put you on a pathway to spiritual wisdom, having spiritual experiences to create a spiritual awakening that will develop in a spiritual transformation. Donald Lawrence, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. No, you are a spiritual being living and walking this natural experience on this earthly journey called life. So what a beautiful way to learn spiritual principles to deal with any and all things on this earthly journey. I tell you, I love it. All right, so the first thing I want to do is to ask you to get your coffee because we're going to go to the reading. I want you to take a sip like I am. And then I want you to close your eyes, open up your ears so that you can listen. Okay? All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. February the 5th, AA Daily Reflections. A glorious release. The minute I stopped arguing, I could begin to see and feel. Right there, step 2 gently and very gradually began to infiltrate my life. I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe in a power greater than myself, but I certainly had that belief now. To acquire it, I had only to stop fighting and practice the rest of AA's program as enthusiastically as I could. This is from 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 27. After years of indulging in a self-will run riot, step 2 became for me a glorious relief from being all alone. Nothing is so painful or insurmountable in my journey now. Someone is always there to share life's burdens with me. Step 2 became a reinforcement with God, and I now realize that my insanity and ego were curiously linked. To rid myself of the former, I must give up the latter to one with far broader shoulders than my own. Did you hear that? A glorious release. We are in the month of February, and in the Alcoholics Anonymous Spiritual Fellowship that offers a spiritual, simple program for complicated people, step 2 is the month of February, where most of the concentration is on the spiritual step and the spiritual traditions. And so, principle number 2 says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Didn't say we were crazy, didn't say you were crazy, but restore us to sanity. And sanity only means soundness of mind. So, with that in mind, let's read it together, okay? And let's put yourself in there. February the 5th, AA Daily Reflections, a glorious release. The minute I stopped arguing, I could begin to see and feel. Right there. Step 2, gently and very gradually begin to infiltrate my life. I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe in a power greater than myself, but I certainly have that belief now. To acquire it, I had only to stop fighting and practice the rest of AA's program as enthusiastically as I could. 12 Steps, 12 Tradition, page 27. And the writer states, after years of indulging in a self-will run riot, step 2 became for me a glorious relief from being all alone. Nothing is so painful or insurmountable in my journey now. Someone is always there to share life's burdens with me. Step 2 became a reinforcement with God, and I now realize that my insanity and ego were curiously linked. To rid myself of the former, I must give up the latter to one with far broader shoulders than my own. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Did you hear that with your ears, but did you listen with your spirit? I know I did. And that's why I love and am in love with recovery, because of readings like this that on a daily basis give people like myself who's been in recovery for a few days, a few hours, years, it doesn't matter, because all we have is today. And as a matter of fact, all we have is right now, right? So we're not drinking right now, hopefully, right? Okay. And so when I think about being chosen to wake up this morning, when I think about, right, I used to take it for granted. But now I know, just by what's going on around the world, particularly with this COVID, over 900,000 individuals have died from COVID-19. I and a number of my family members, total of 9, from age 3 to 78, experienced COVID-19, but we survived. And so I no longer take for granted that I'm going to wake up. I no longer take for granted that I'm going to be the chosen one. I no longer take for granted that he is going to wake my children up, wake them up. He doesn't have to. And so, what now? What am I going to do now to save my life and save the lives of others? Right? And so in Alcoholics Anonymous, that is our sole aim, to stay sober and help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. And so when we think about Alcoholics Anonymous, let's go to the reading, right? And it focuses on, it says, daily reflections, a glorious release. Now, y'all know I get into words, right? Right? So when you think about glorious, glorious, glorious? What does glorious mean to you? What do you feel? What do you hear? What do you think when you hear the word glorious? Do you just say glorious? Do you say glorious? No! Glorious! Magnificent! Awesome! Glorious! Enthusiastically glorious! A glorious! See, when you put emotions behind these words, they begin to take on a deeper spiritual meaning. Glorious. I was chosen to be waking up this morning glorious. Glorious what? Okay. It says a glorious release. A glorious release. The fact that I am talking with you, present with you, I recognize what a glorious relief to know that I was chosen today, this minute. What a glorious revelation. What a glorious relief. I get one more minute, one more day. A glorious release. And I need not take it for granted. All right, so let's get back into the reading. It says here, the minute I stopped arguing, I could begin to see and feel. We're talking about a glorious release, right? A glorious release. It says the minute I stop fighting, right? The minute I stop arguing, right? The minute I stopped arguing, I could begin to see and feel. The minute I stopped arguing. Do you argue? Are you arguing now? Huh? Do you know? Go back into a time when you were arguing. You were like in it. Yes, we were going to toe, bout to bout. We were in it. We were arguing. Yes. We didn't hear nothing. We didn't see nothing. We were arguing back and forth. Huh? And so in Alcoholics Anonymous, we get to reflect on those moments when we were engaged in arguing. Arguing. You see the tension, you see the frustration, huh? Just like glorious. But arguing, huh? Can be just as, huh? Yeah, emotionally, yes. It's the opposite, right? Glorious. Compared to arguing. Which one would you prefer? Which one would you prefer? And so in Alcoholics Anonymous, particularly with the second step, it says once, right? The minute I stopped arguing, I could begin to see and feel. Have you ever stopped yourself in the midst of an argument? Like a light bulb went off. Like someone turned on the switch, right? Like someone opened the gates of heaven, huh? You were restored to sanity because you took yourself out of the picture and you saw yourself. And when you stepped out the picture, you saw yourself, right? You see and you feel what you were going through, huh? But the minute you stopped arguing, you could see and you could feel. What? What? Huh? I teach anger management, right? And I tell people, listen, if you're in the midst of an argument and you know because you know them arguments can what? Huh? Anger, you put a D in front of anger, that means danger. Neon lights, neon lights, neon lights. The minute I stopped arguing, I could see and I could feel. So let's see what else it says. It says here, right there. Step 2, gently and very gradually begin to infiltrate my life. Came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Right then and right there. Yes, the second step, right? The second step, very gently and very gradually begin to infiltrate my life. So when you think about that moment, you were engaged and you were going there and woo, something said, wait a minute. If we yield to that spirit, and if we yield to another spirit, we're going all the way. So we're talking about the spiritual spirit that says, hold up. Hit the pause button. And let principle number 2, came to believe that a power greater than me could restore me to soundness of mind, sanity. And so the more we practice this principle in our daily lives, right, the less we argue. Less. I said less. I ain't said stop. I said less, right? Because we understand that our humanness wants to engage. Our humanness wants to fight. Our humanness wants to defend. But our spirit that God gave us, no, not a spirit of confusion, not a spirit of, fear, not a spirit of discord, none of that. That's what I mean when Donald Lawrence said you're not a natural being, I'm having a spiritual experience. What spiritual being is operating through your humanness? So when we allow step 2 to gently and very gradually infiltrate our lives, what happens? Okay? I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe in a power greater than myself, but I certainly had that belief now. And see, that's what I mean. This thing called life. Ambassador Tamika Strickland and Hope Winchester and A.J. Harding and Jay Macklin, Dr. Dennery, right? Everything is a process. Everything is a process. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. And then it's recycled. Everything is a process. So this passage says, I can't tell you upon what day or what time, right? I can't say upon what occasion or upon what day I came to believe a power greater than myself. All right, but I certainly had that belief now. So y'all know me, listen. Y'all need some tangible experiences, right? You out there arguing, you out there fighting, and guess what? The cops pull up. Is that a power greater than you? You remember that occasion, don't you? You remember that day, don't you? When you went to court and you had to get all dressed up and everything, right? And you stood before that judge. Was that a day and an occasion you recognized a power greater than you? Yeah. Yes. But here in Alcoholics Anonymous, in the spiritual process, it's a journey, right? It's a process. It gradually happens, just like we gradually became an alcoholic. We gradually became a drug addict. We gradually got into the field of prostitution, gradually, right? And so when I think about going back over my life, when did those ideas, attitudes, and behaviors started? As a child with my family, right? There was a lot of insanity in my house. There was a lot of dysfunction in my house. Not all the time, but guess what? Those are the times, for whatever reason, we choose to remember the most, that impact us the most, right? That haunts us. Yes. And so we sought relief with alcohol, drugs, other things, okay? And so it says here, I underneath that park car for me, when I hollered out to that guy that I didn't know, heard about, right? That was the day, right? That I came to believe in something because my words were, whoever they say you are. That was my knee-bowing experience underneath that park car on February the 22nd of 1993, o'clock in the morning. Whoever they say you are, I'm acknowledging that there's something greater than me. So whoever they say you are, take me out this life now and show me a better way. So I know that day and that occasion that happened for me. And as a result of being in recovery, participating in my own recovery, not on the parameters, not in and out. No, right? That belief, I came to believe in a power greater than myself, and I certainly had that belief now. You better believe it. You better believe it. I am always, right? Always practicing, recognizing, the powers that are greater than me, right? Thank God he has given me the spirit of discernment. So now I can look at the physical, I can look at the situation and see what spirit is operating through it. To get me to knock me off my feet, to get me to tell God to kiss my behind, to give me the opportunity to go back to drinking. Oh, hell no. I thank God for the spirit of discernment. And so I'm always looking for that power greater than me that can enhance my spirituality or decrease it. You got me? All right, so let's go on. I ain't got but a few more minutes, right? All right, so now it says here, to acquire it, I had only to stop fighting, right? Let me stop there. To acquire it, right? That belief in a power greater than me, I had to just stop fighting. I had to just stop debating. I had to just stop arguing. I just had to surrender, right? So to acquire it, I just had to stop fighting. What? Doesn't this look how relaxed I am. What? Instead of no. Stop fighting. So to acquire that sanity, that soundness of mind, we practice stop fighting. And then it goes on to say, and practice the rest of the AA's program as enthusiastically as I could, right? And the key word is to practice the rest of the AA's program as enthusiastically as I could. Y'all see, listen, I had a lot of energy. Could you imagine me on crack? Right? So once this God that I didn't know didn't zap me out, but put me on a pathway to recovery, right? I was so happy that I was alive, right? That for whatever reason, I was spared. I was chosen, right? And so it put me on that pathway of coming to believe in a power greater than me, than the power that was greater than me during my addiction and way before, when those negative attitudes, ideas, and behaviors were formulated, right? So this is all, with the step process. That's why they say practice the remaining steps. So you can do that inventory, so that you can go back in your history, so that you can identify your patterns. Read your book. Read the first half of your book. Read it. It's filled with information. It's filled with patterns. It's filled with situations, circumstances. But it's filled with you and your reactions, your responses, your attitudes, your ideas, and your behavior. Read about you. And then when we have been brought to our knee-bowing experience, we had the opportunity through that humiliation to gain humility, right? And be set on a pathway of discovery while in recovery. All right? So you see how enthusiastic I am about Alcoholics Anonymous. Look, you think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Pops now? Woo! Listen. Listen. It's the spirit within that's rejoicing. And it's being manifested and demonstrated, externally, because internally I'm feeling it. You can see it. I told you I'm transparent. But it says practice the other remaining steps for the full process of spiritual transformation to occur. All right, let's see. Now let's go to what the gentleman says. He says, after years of indulging in a self-will run riot, step 2 became for me a glorious release from being all alone. After years of self-indulging and self-will run riot. Take a drink of coffee, right? After years